Welcome to the True Life in God Daily Podcast, where we hear God's voice in our times. We get to really know Him, and we enter into a more personal relationship with Him. Episode 2.
The battle between my angel and Satan. As though it was not enough to be tormented in the daytime, Satan came too, at nighttime. He would not let me sleep. Every time I was about to fall asleep, he would try to suffocate me. I sometimes would feel him like an eagle who would put his claws inside my stomach and squeeze all the breath out of me. I felt the battle around me. I felt how I was in the middle of this battle between my angel and the devil. Then one day, as if nothing had happened, everything ceased. Satan abandoned his attacks, and I had a few days' peace. All this experience left me rather weak, but more attached than ever before to my angel. In my eyes, my guardian angel began to be everything, and he filled my life. I clung to him for dear life, so to say. I realized how much our guardian angels protected us, loved us, cared for us, guarded us, cried for us, prayed for us, suffered with us, and shared everything with us. Sorrows and joys were shared. To the horror of the devil, since he guessed what God had in store for me, he came back into the scene. Cunning as he is, this time he changed strategy. He used the classical way to deceive me and appeared to me like my angel. He attached a great importance on how to portray God to me. His aim, since he guessed that God would approach me for a mission, was to make me fear God in the wrong way, so that when God's time came to communicate with me, I would run away from him. I admit that in the beginning, he managed to deceive me, and I believed what he said about God, because he used my ignorance to feed my brain with a false image of God. He portrayed God to me as a fearful judge with little tolerance for his creatures, and that with the slightest error on our part, he would punish us in a terrible way. This went on for a few days. I came to the stage where I could not discern who was who. I could not tell if I was with my angel or if it was the evil one aping my angel. I had nobody to turn to for consulting or take advice from either. I was quite alone. I also did not want to share this with my husband, for fear of upsetting him. Satan believed he had now the upper hand, started to tighten the knot, but showing signs of evil, wickedness, confusing me. To make things worse, every day that went by, he brought more and more demons with him to invade me, making it very difficult for my guardian angel to protect me. God allowed me to overhear the devil once, while he was giving orders to his angels to go and attack and paralyze me. These fallen angels surrounded me, mocked me, lied to me, and called me all sorts of dirty names. They also nicknamed me Pia, but with mockery. God allowed all this to happen, for this too was another way that he made use of to purify my soul. My purification continues. A few days passed, and suddenly my angel asked me to go to the seminary to find a priest and show him the messages. I did exactly as he told me, but I was very disappointed. I had great expectations, and what I got was a blow. The priest thought I was going through a psychological crisis and believed I was on the verge of schizophrenia. He wanted to examine both my hands. He took both my hands and analyzed them. I knew what he had in mind. He was trying to find traces of any sort of abnormality in my hands, as in certain mental cases. He believed that now God had given him this heavy cross that was me to carry. He pitied me and asked me to come any time to see him. I went every second or third day to visit him. I did not like going to him because he treated me as a mental case in the beginning. This went on for about 3 or 4 months. The only reason why I persevered in visiting him was so that I should prove to him I was not mental. Finally, after some time, he realized that I was sane. One day he even said that what I had might be a charisma from God. My guardian angel, in the meantime, was leading me towards God, and one of the first lessons that he gave me was on discernment. These teachings on discernment infuriated the devil even more, because it meant that even though he would appear like the angel of light, I would know the difference. My angel told me that Jesus will approach me, and that his mission, my angel's, was coming towards its end. When I heard this news, I was sad. I did not want my angel to leave me. He tried to reason with me, explaining that he was only God's servant, and that now I should turn towards God. He tried to explain that his mission with me was to take me to God and hand me safely over to him. But this was all the more painful for me. I could not bear the idea that from one day to the other, I would not communicate with my angel. As my angel Daniel foretold to me, one day Jesus came in his place. When he revealed himself to me, he asked me, "Which house is more important, your house or my house?" I answered him, "Your house." I felt him happy with my reply. He blessed me and left. Again, instead of my angel, the Lord came to me and said, "It is I." And when he saw I was hesitating, he said clearly, "It is I, God." But instead of rejoicing, I was unhappy. I was missing terribly my angel. I loved my angel deeply, and the mere thought that he would not come again because his place would be taken by God was disturbing me. I would like to mention here what the Lord told me regarding the love I had for my angel. He said that no one ever loved his angel as much as I have. And he hoped to say one day to me these words, "No man ever loved me in your era as much as you have." Now, my angel kept in the background. God asked me, "Do you love me?" I said I did. He did not blame me for not loving him enough, but instead he said very gently, "Love me more." The other time the Lord revealed himself to me, he told me, "Revive my house," and again, "Renew my house." I could not remember replying, but I knew what he was asking me was impossible. The following days were visits either by my angel or Jesus, sometimes both at the same time. My angel was preaching to me. He was asking me to make peace with God. When he asked me that, I was very surprised, and I told him that I was not at war with God. So how was I to make peace with him? God asked me again to love him. He asked me to become intimate with him as I was with my angel, meaning to speak freely to him, but I could not. I still felt him as a stranger and not as a friend. My angel was reminding me that he was just God's servant, and that I should love God and glorify him. The more he was pushing me towards God, the more I was panicking for fear that he would leave me. He was telling me to abandon myself to God, but I was not doing it. Meanwhile, Satan had not given up. He still hoped to get me in my weak state. I was allowed by God once or twice to hear a conversation between Jesus and Satan. Satan was asking from him to put me to the test. He said to Jesus, "We will see about your Vassula. Your dear Vassula will not keep faithful to you. She will fall, and for good this time. I can prove it to you in the days of her trials." And so Satan was allowed again to place on me all sorts of temptations, incredible temptations. Every time I realized that it was a temptation and I overcame it, he put in my way yet another bigger temptation. Temptations that, had I succumbed to them, my soul would be bound for hell. Then his attacks started all over again. He splashed boiling oil on my mid-finger where I placed the pencil to write. Immediately the blister appeared, and I had to dress it to be able to hold the pencil when I was writing. The devil was trying once more and ever so hard to stop me from communicating with God and from writing. I wrote with great pain. Each time my finger healed, he repeated the same thing over and over again, and so for weeks I wrote, but not without suffering. When my family and I went on holiday to Thailand, we went in a boat to visit an island. On the way back, as soon as we were pulling in, the boat shook and I lost my balance. So that I do not fall, I grabbed the first thing in sight, and it was the exhaust pipe of the boat, burning hot. I burned the whole palm of my right hand. My first thought was, how am I to write? My hand swelled, was red, and very painful. We were half an hour from the hotel, but by the time we arrived there, all the swelling and pain had left me. I had no sign of burning. The Lord told me later on that he had not allowed Satan to go as far as this, and so he healed my hand. The devil tried another way to stop me from writing. He appeared to my son. He was 10 years old then, in his dream. He took the shape of an old man and told him while sitting near his bed, "You'd better tell your mother to stop writing, and if she does not, I shall do to you the same thing I had done to her when she was young. I shall come while you are lying in bed, pull your head back, and strangle you." This was what I experienced when I was maybe 6 years old. I had seen one night right in front of me while I was in bed, just above my throat, 2 terribly ugly hands of an old man. The next thing I knew was that something pulled my head backwards, exposing my throat. Then nothing, but this left me trembling. Satan had hounded me from my early age. For almost every night, at about the age of 6, he appeared to me in dreams to terrify me, taking the shape of a big black dog. It was always the same dream. I would be walking in a dim corridor, and there, at the end would be this dog snarling, ready to jump on me and tear me to pieces, and I would flee terrified. When I was about 10, I saw Jesus in my dream. He was at the end of some sort of corridor. I only saw his portrait. I saw him only all the way to his waist. He was smiling and saying, "Come, come to me." I was suddenly seized by an unknown current that drew me closer and closer to him. I was afraid of this unknown current, and Jesus realized my fear, smiling at me. This current drew me all the way to Jesus until my face stuck on his face. At about 12 years of age too, I had another mystical experience. It was my spiritual marriage to Jesus. Again, in a dream, I was dressed as a bride, and my spouse was Jesus. Only I could not see him, but I knew he was there. The people who were present were greeting us cheerfully, with palm leaves in their hands. We were supposed to walk the nuptial walk. Just after the marriage was over, I stepped in a room. There was our Blessed Mother, with Saint Mary Magdalene, and 2 other holy women. Our Blessed Mother was very happy and came to embrace me. She started immediately to fix my dress again and my hair, and I realized that she wanted me to be presentable for her son. Satan continues with different attacks. The devil knew what a horror I have for cockroaches. I hate to write this, but I feel I must, to show how the devil fought me. One day, while going out of a room, I shut the door. I suddenly felt on my face a wet liquid that was sprinkled on me. I could not understand where it came from. I heard suddenly Satan laughing, and he mockingly said to me, "This is the way I baptize. This is the kind of holy water you deserve." Then I saw what had happened. I had squashed at the frame of the door a big cockroach. I could have died there and then from my disgust. I do not like writing so much about Satan's attack, but I would like to show how much he fought me to prevent this message from coming out and prevent me from the mission the Lord was preparing for me. One day, he decided again to change strategy. To deceive me, he took the exact image of my deceased father. Even the manner he spoke to me was the same, a perfect imitation. He spoke to me in French, as my father now and then did, and said, "My dear, look, God, out of pity, is sending me to you to tell you that you are wrong. How could you believe that he communicates with you in this way? These things are, as you know, impossible, and you are only offending and angering God. Think, God speaking to you? Where did you ever hear of such a thing before? Only madness can lead you to believe such a thing." I asked, "Well, what about my angel? With angels, is it possible?" When he said, "Oh, that one," his voice was filled with hatred, and I recognized Satan once more.
You've just listened to the True Life in God podcast. We can't wait to see you tomorrow with a new episode.